Once, deep in a forest that lived more in shadow than in sun, there was a wolf who had grown too tired to hunt. His name was Bragg. Once, he had been feared by every creature from the riverbank to the mountain pass. They used to say his howl could make the trees bow and the deer freeze where they stood, but age had caught up with him like a winter that wouldn't end. His paws ached, his teeth dulled, and the only thing that stayed sharp was his pride. That's where the fox came in. Her name was Lyra, small, sleek, with amber eyes that seemed to always see two things at once, the path in front of her and the danger behind. She was clever. Of course everyone knows foxes are. But what made Lyra special wasn't just her tricks. It was her patience, her ability to let someone think they were winning, even as she mapped out their failure. She had learned early that survival in the forest wasn't about strength. It was about story, and the best stories were the ones you let your enemies believe. Bragg had taken her in one winter when she was just a pup with frostbitten ears, saved her, fed her scraps, taught her where to find the fat rabbits and how to sniff out traps. But he also used her, sent her into villages to steal, into fields to cause distractions, into dens that weren't hers to mark his territory. "You're quick," he'd growl, "but I'm strong. That's why it works." And Lyra had nodded. For years she nodded, even as she did all the running, all the risking, even as Bragg grew slower and angrier and more careless with each passing moon. Eventually, the forest began to change. Less prey, more fire, strange smells on the wind. Men with machines came closer every season. The balance was shifting, and Lyra knew that cleverness might no longer be enough. One night, Bragg demanded she steal from the human camp's meat shiny tools, anything that could be traded with the badgers or owls. "Go south," he ordered. "There's weakness in that direction." But Lyra hesitated. She'd heard stories of traps that didn't look like traps, of foxes who didn't come back. And more importantly, she had met someone, a wild dog who had once been a pet and now roamed free, named Caro. He had told her what lay beyond the southern ridge. Not weakness, but cities, metal beasts and noise. No place for wolves or foxes. Lyra warned Bragg, gently. He snarled. "You've gone soft, talking to dogs, dreaming of peace. That's not what we do." And then he said the words that turned the wind cold. "You owe me, fox. I made you." That was the moment something inside Lyra stopped nodding. She went south. She saw the city lights like stars trapped in jars. She saw the cages, the collars, the machines. And then she saw the sign, a wooden one, nailed beside the trap fence. On it, painted in red, "Cunning Wanted," and she understood. They didn't fear teeth anymore. They feared minds. Foxes like her weren't prey. They were currency, tools for a new kind of hunt. She returned to Bragg 3 days later, blood on her fur, but not her own. "I found the weakness," she whispered. Bragg grinned. The old fool. He followed her eagerly, through the narrow pine pass, to the clearing she had scouted. Just there, she pointed, behind the stones. Bragg licked his lips. "You've finally grown a hunter's heart." And he stepped into the trap. It wasn't metal. It wasn't human. It was silence. In the moment he was gone, the forest exhaled. Weeks passed. Lyra didn't brag, didn't boast. She didn't take the din. She let the forest decide what came next. And in time, the other animals noticed. Not that Bragg was gone, but that fear was quieter now. And Lyra, she still tricked. She still danced along the line between risk and reward. But now, she shared her paths. Taught the young where the traps lay. Whispered truth when lies would have been easier. Because the greatest trick the fox ever played wasn't on the wolf. It was on the story. The tale everyone thought they knew.